So thank you for having me here today. I'm really glad I could make it finally to Warburg and seeing the whole company a bit more in detail. My name is Damien Charlie. I'm a CEO from JLS Digital. It's a Swiss-based full-service integrator, and I'm going to try to explain as much as possible in 20-25 minutes what we are actually doing and how we work together, especially with DICE, on the software business and how we are on the way. So what's probably a little bit special and the most important thing to know is we connecting brands with people. It's our vision, it's our mission, and it's exactly what we are, how we approach our customer as well. We don't see ourselves as a technology provider or a simple digital agency. We're looking for brands where we can help them to connect with their customers. And that's the basic for everything that we do in Switzerland and only in Switzerland. So we're really only a Swiss-based company. And maybe one more thing, which I almost forgot now. We are since 2021 a full subsidiary of Swisscom. It's the biggest Swiss telco provider in Switzerland, has acquired. You could ask yourself why would they do it, because it's mostly an ICT provider. But exactly the story about being at the customer journey of our people is the reason why a telco has the interest to go further into this topic inside. So when we approach our customers, that's basically how we see the brand seen from a customer perspective. So in the beginning, and of course it has a few German words, but below it's also the English words available. The whole customer journey to interact with a brand is always starting with awareness and consideration. So you're thinking about the brand and everything. So helping with digital signage, with motion design and content solutions, we can help our customer to connect with his customer in a different way. And then if you go further, and we're not doing everything, that it has to be clear here as well. We're not doing everything ourselves. That would be kind of like trying, as you mentioned before, building the biggest ERP system in the world and making the integration everywhere yourself. But we have the capabilities of supporting our brands on the whole journey, from the consideration back to the loyalty elements. And when we then go further, we usually talk about the customer experience with an impact. So we address our people with different offerings. Digital signage, of course, I will go a little bit deeper into that as well. Motion design, but we also build mobile applications and progressive web apps, top modern solution where you don't need a physical installation of on a device. Even though back to sales and advisory tools where we help the customer in the store or wherever they want to interact with the customer. And in order to exceed my time limit not too much, I'm going to reduce a little bit to focus a little bit on the topics that we actually work since many, many years together with DICE as a technology provider, which helps us to realize all that customer effects on the markets. Of course, the most obvious one, and probably also the oldest one, is digital signage. One-way communication in shopping windows, in-store, where we have over 10,000 display points in Switzerland, where we serve as a full managed provider for the customer. So we have even customers which don't even know how many displays they have, basically just out of the invoicing part, but in the end, they don't have to do anything with it. So it's not only the installation and the conceptual phase that we do for the customer, but moreover, the maintaining and the content production in the sales process whenever they have it installed. Because usually the systems run for many years, and usually big brands don't want to have to do too much with the digital signage systems themselves. So on the other hand, and that's really one of the core beliefs we have at JLS, the technological implementing a digital signage system is only one part of the system. the most important part is using the channel in the right way to communicate to the right audience in the right way at the right time. And JLS has since almost the beginning an internal communication agency. So we have more than 15 people working in 3D, 2D, motion design, whatever, and consultant services in order to support the use of the channels. So when I say we are a full service provider, I mean really he can come to us, we talk with him about what kind of digital signage installation he can make, and then we can even help him to use the right content at the right time in the right message on the right channel. And that's exactly what we built in Switzerland together. And of course, and I took the content automation part, automating things nowadays, especially in retailers, weekly offers, weekly actions, sales topics. You don't want to do all the contents every week for yourself. You need automating solutions, and that's where we actually especially also use the DICE platform as well in order to automate things through feeds or direct API connections to retailers, that the effort that you have to do every week can reduce to a maximum. And then when we go away and a little bit into the direction, what else can you do? Interactive is a more and more common topic. It had quite a huge spike in 2020 and then 2019, and then Corona dumped it a little bit down again. But now I think, especially in Switzerland, it's coming up again, that you use the space as well for interactive solutions. So having the capabilities on the one hand to communicate video format templating through a standardized platform, but on the same hand, implement solutions yourself. Is it a catalog of all the product, so-called endless aisle solutions, which enables that you don't have to store everything in store anymore, but rather have a digital solution, and whenever they want to have it, then you send it directly to the customer at home. And that's basically, if I'm summarizing it, how we address the customer, that's exactly what we believe works together with the customer best. We call it the experience platform, and it's not from a technological perspective, because our customer all know with which platform we work together, but it's going around a little bit further to open it up. So basically helping the customer, is it with audio, is it with interactive, with VR experience, everything, to really support him in a technical and on a communicating way in store with all its possible solution. So, and what I mean with an open platform, what we working together with DICE for so long, that's actually slides that I use for presenting our solution to customers. And you don't see a differentiation what technology part is behind. But basically, obviously, content management, network operation, and the interactive capabilities of DICE is the core fundamental element for our solution. At the same time, through API and openness, we can build, and we built over the past years, different solutions around it that gives us the chance to support the customer on this whole journey I mentioned in the beginning. So we built, for example, an own analytics platform, which is directly coupled to the DICE platform, which helps us to analyze how the people see the content, how long they're looking at the content, not for a real-time changing contents and everything, but rather to think about in the future, what kind of people do I have in front from a screen or anything to use it in planning for the next iteration or something. And that's the capability that we currently use from a DICE perspective. And I mentioned quite a lot of different things that we currently build. We have motion designer, 3D expert, we have field supporters. We have currently 103 people in 3 cities in Switzerland, and act with this background really as a full agency. So to be honest, there is not every customer using every possible field that we have, and it's probably never gonna be, but that's okay. The possibility for us as an agency to support the customer with specific needs and taking the experts in the same company together to form a really good team to help exactly what the customer needs. And that's the capabilities we have built over the last year. And of course, everyone has done it today, so I'm going to do it as well, showing a little bit a few logos. But I'd rather not go. I will show two dedicated cases shortly afterwards. But I think, Johan, you mentioned it before in the call, in the previous session. I think the most important thing is we don't support our customers as one-time projects. That's never the goal and will never be. Because building one project is a really cool thing for the next 6 months. But what we are really proud of, most of these customers are way over 7 years customers of JLS. And we keep on intending to keep them all for the next 7 years as well. And I think that's the main part where we can really say we support the customer on his customer journey with his customers. It's a little bit confusing, but that's what we basically do and believe that's the most value topic. And what you of course see in regards to verticals, you see a lot of banks, typical Switzerland banking infrastructure vertical. Also a little bit the background that a few banks have joined us really early in the process. And then it was also kind of like an easy entry point for other banks. And since 2018 in retail with Migros, the second biggest retailer in Switzerland, that we can fully support in all different ways. Good. Then that was all nice sales presentation. I shortly want to show you the Swisscom store concept, which we started 2020. And it's quite important to say 2020, it was before we have been acquired by Swisscom. We started the conversation. And Swisscom has kind of like renewed the whole store concept. Before, there was 1 or 2 screens in every store. And the new store concept considered 38 to 40 screens per shop. And you have more than 108 shops. So you can calculate yourself how much potential we have there. And we started migrating it. But furthermore, or even more important is, it was not only a digital signage integration, but we, in the same way, directly took over the whole motion design. So we produce every content, every sales, that has been produced for every week in all the different elements, which I will show you a few things afterwards shortly, to make it as a one-stop shop, JLS supporting Swisscom basically as a full agency. So just 2 elements taken out, of course, classical elements like accessory walls, which supports the upsale of accessory for iPhones or Samsung device or whatever. But on the middle side, it's an interactive touch application. They call it a mixed reality table. It's an interactive template built into the DICE platform, which has a physical device on top of it. But around, depending on which device is lying on top, you have the appropriate accessory displayed, the pricing, the colors that you currently have available in store, and even can enable, if, for example, a device is not available, to order it directly to your home or whatever. And then going in the customer journey further, a nice element in front of the stores. Swisscom used to have really old chalkboards, physical chalkboards that you have to write with chalk on it in every store. And since e-ink has taken quite the way up, we managed to roll out a set of chalkboards for each shop in the last year, which is directly connected to the CMS platform, and we can, in the same look and feel, it's basically not chalk there, it looks only like chalk, display weekly offers, weekly content and everything. And on the right side, probably the newest thing that we have currently deployed is kind of like boxes, consulting boxes. And basically the topic is you're not always having the experts on site for helping you in a certain topic. So basically we connected also through the CMS platform to the first level support and the expert sales call team of Swisscom. So whenever you come in and have a certain topic, you can sit in here or basically being guided into that box, and you are directly connected to an expert which is sitting somewhere, wherever he likes to sit, and he can give you the proper expertise to help you. And of course, last thing, in certain flagship stores, we usually also try to implement a little bit the fancy elements of marketing and really making awareness with big LED screens. And if we go further, that's the store itself. That's so basically the retail store. But the platform enables us also kind of like for short-term solutions then to enhance even further. And we built an interactive gaming game for an event that Swisscom held, and was directly played on a screen device with a mobile device. And I will shortly show you the video, if the sound. Good. And the second case I have taken with me is a customer that we already can serve since 2012 in various different ways, and is UBS Switzerland. And basically classical, we have over 900 installations in Switzerland, in the shopping window and in store, in the customer communication zone, where they have the cash top sellings and stuff, and ATM 24 moments. And the critical point on UBS Switzerland is that it's a full managed service that we do as a full service integrator. So from kind of like all installations, all maintenance, all operations, proactive monitoring the solution and everything, it's all done by JLS. And it goes even further than into the communication part. So whenever you see and whenever you travel to Switzerland and walk by a UBS bank, and the content being played there, it's always scheduled through our creative advisory consultants, which supports the customer in the whole management of the system. So UBS doesn't even do anything in the system themselves. They don't want to do it. They obviously could. It's not a complexity thing, but it's something they expectedly wanted to shift outside, and we as a full service provider can support them. And if you have ever been to Switzerland, of course, that's kind of like the flagship we always show is the big, and it's a little bit hard to see on these screens. It looks like really old iPads. It's a big case that we have built many, many years ago. Daniel will know probably best. That was even before my time. And currently renewing that one as well on a Swiss base rollout. And therefore have really the complexity and can do sync solutions and everything. And even more interesting and coming up more and more is the possibility of using that content automation I mentioned before. The possibility of kind of like through the system produce contents that normally is approved only a few hours before it goes live. So it means a lot of content production, and we have obviously four languages in Switzerland, so every content has to be in 4 languages in all the different formats being produced. So with content automation, we made it possible that over 900 videos could have been produced within 1.5 hours. because we just got 2 hours before from Samsung the go that the campaign can be work like that. And there, the technology helps us really to speed up things and being on site at the right moment. And before I start, we are a digital agency, so visual elements, experience videos is basically also one of our key elements that we usually show. And what we do with UBS as well is using this vast amount of digital signage screens that we have, also in different ways. And since 2 years, we work really intense together also with DICE on making that work. How can you interact with the screens, which is usually a one-way device to play out video content. But with WebSocket technology and mobile development from our side, we joined forces and have been able to kind of like use the screen in different ways. Is it a game? And you will see yourself. And what you see is emotion, and that's exactly what the brand wanted to create. And the game itself is not super fancy or anything, but it used the technology to use the movement of the mobile device, which is directly then represented on flagship screens, 75-inch big. And this is already an impression because you stand in front of the screen, which is behind a secure glass door, and you can take over the control of the screen. And that's the interaction that we have the capabilities of do so. Or one last example, and then I'm done with experience videos, is to go into another dimension. And we used audio besides digital signage combined to make another promotion in Switzerland.
Unser Puls schlägt für die Leichtathletik.
And to hear in an ATM store suddenly sound may be really confusing. They kind of fewer response to the situation that suddenly if you walk into a bank you hear a pulse and really loud is not kind of like the usual thing. But that's what I exactly want to say with this, going beyond the classical digital signage and being able to extend to new ways of communicating through the system. And that's basically also what we, in the end, like to work with DICE together, because it's basically we work really together on cases, we make them together happen. We can build our own things if necessary, adapted and close to the system. And of course, and Daniel knows that probably best, we have a lot of requirements that are coming from our customers, which we can really on eye-to-eye level discuss and prioritize and work together ways of how to move forward and bring the platform forward. Also for us, we can work with the customers together. And I think that's exactly the last point that we really can talk on an eye-to-eye level And I think that's the key message for being a partner. And I'm looking forward for the next upcoming years, and especially looking forward to the presentation before the IXM Grid, and see where we go from there. Thank you very much.